The plasma torch hissed as Marcus welded the fractured breastplate, sweat dripping down his temple despite the climate controls. Queen Velshara's ceremonial armor lay across his workbench, the metal still warm from battle. He shouldn't be here. Human technicians didn't touch royal equipment, not in the Kryn Empire. But the Queen's guard captain had dragged him from the forge 3 hours ago, her mandibles clicking urgency, and now he worked alone in the palace's restricted wing while something burned in the courtyard outside. The armor's inner layer pulsed with bioluminescent veins, technology he'd never seen in 5 years of repair work. His fingers traced the damage, 3 parallel gouges that had nearly reached the Queen's thorax. Whatever hit her had meant to kill. You work quickly for a mammal. Marcus didn't flinch. He'd learned that much. Your Majesty, I didn't hear you enter. Queen Velshara moved like liquid shadow, her 8-foot frame crowned with the traditional headdress of her house. Her primary eyes watched his hands while her secondary pair scanned the room's exits. The door announced me. Your species simply cannot detect our harmonics. He set down the torch, bowing his head the required 45 degrees. The armor will need another hour. The damage compromised the kinetic dispersion matrix. I know what the damage compromised. I felt it. She circled the bench, movements predatory despite her regal bearing. Tell me, Marcus Chen, why does my guard captain trust you with this task? I don't know, Your Majesty. You repaired her daughter's combat suit last year, sealed a breach that 3 Kryn technicians declared unfixable. The mandibles clicked softly. You used human welding techniques. Crude. Effective. Marcus kept his eyes on the armor. The principles are universal. Metal is metal. Is it? One of her secondary arms lifted a piece of the damaged plating. This alloy was forged in the coronation fires of my grandmother's reign. It has turned blades for 2 centuries. Yet something cut through it like membrane. The weight in her voice made him look up. Her face held the rigid composure of Kryn royalty, but her scent markers, subtle chemical signatures he'd learned to read, betrayed fear. May I speak freely, Your Majesty? But you will anyway. Your species cannot help itself. These gouges. They're not from any weapon I've seen in combat records. He pointed to the scoring pattern. Whatever made them was designed specifically to penetrate Kryn armor. The angle, the depth, the thermal signature, and the metal grain structure. This was an assassination attempt by someone who knew exactly what you'd be wearing. Velshara's scent shifted to something sharp and chemical. Not anger. Confirmation. 6 hours ago, my youngest approached me during the Festival of Ascension. She handed me a flower, as is tradition. The Queen's voice remained level, but her primary hands clenched. The stems were coated with a paralytic. While I stood frozen before 10,000 witnesses, 3 of my own guards struck. They were stopped. The attackers died by poison before interrogation. Marcus processed this, his mind racing. The child, unharmed, confused. Velshara set down the plating with precise care. She is 7 years old by your counting. She did not understand what she carried. Who gave her the flower? That is what my guard is currently determining. The Queen moved to the window, her silhouette framed by the burning courtyard. You understand now why this armor must be perfect, why it must be finished in secret. Tomorrow I stand before the Grand Council and name my successor. If I appear wounded or weakened, the treaty houses will fracture. We will have civil war within a week. Marcus looked at the armor, really looked at it. The ceremonial engravings told the history of her lineage. The modification spoke of battles won. The new damage revealed vulnerability. I can fix the structural integrity, he said carefully. But if there are more traitors in your guard, better armor won't save you. No, it won't. Velshara turned from the window. Which is why you will accompany me to the council chamber tomorrow. You will stand with my guard as their technical consultant. Your Majesty, I'm not a warrior. I'm not even Kryn. Precisely. My enemies expect Kryn traditions, Kryn loyalty, Kryn weakness. Her scent markers shifted to something Marcus had never detected before, something that might have been hope. They do not expect a human who understands how to fix what is broken. Before Marcus could respond, alarms screamed through the palace. Velshara's combat implants activated instantly, her posture shifting to pure violence readiness. Report, she commanded, touching her Neuralink. Marcus couldn't hear the response, but he saw her face change, saw the moment a queen became something far more dangerous. The child, Velshara said quietly. Someone has taken the child from isolation. She moved toward the door, then stopped, her eyes fixing on Marcus with terrible intensity. Finish the armor. Trust no one. If I do not return within 2 hours, take it to guard Captain Thelsara. She will know what to do. The queen paused at the threshold. You asked why she trusts you. It is because 5 years ago you were the only one who told her that her daughter's suit could not be saved. You valued truth over approval. In this palace, that makes you either very foolish or very rare. Then she was gone, and Marcus was alone with an empire's armor and the sound of running guards echoing through halls where children disappeared in Queen's blood. He picked up the plasma torch. His hands didn't shake. 2 hours. He'd need the armor sealed with a magnetic hum that felt like finality. Marcus ran diagnostics through the quantum mesh, watching patterns flow across the metal like living things. Every system registered optimal. He'd reinforced the weak points, upgraded the kinetic dispersion to military grade, even managed to integrate a human-designed early warning system into the existing neural framework. Velshara would sense threats 3 seconds before they materialized, if she lived long enough to wear it. 90 minutes had passed. The palace had gone silent in the worst way. Not peaceful, but held breath. Marcus cleaned his tools with mechanical precision, buying time he didn't have. The door opened without warning. Guard Captain Thelsara entered, her armor scorched black down one side, green blood seeping through a joint seal. Behind her, 3 guards dragged a Kryn male in scholar's robes.
He wasn't struggling. He was smiling.
The queen? Marcus asked. Hunting. Thelsara's mandibles clacked exhaustion. The child was taken to the old wing. The queen went alone. She ordered it. That's suicide.
Royal blood hunts, royal blood, no guards.
No witnesses! The captain touched the completed armor almost reverently. You finished, will she make it back to wear it? Thelsara didn't answer. Instead, she shoved the prisoner forward. This one managed communications during the attack. He sent 3 transmissions before we caught him. Tell the human what you told me. The child still lives because we wish her to live. The queen will find her daughter unharmed in the ceremonial chamber where the old kings kept their failed heirs. Her Majesty will be so relieved, so grateful, so distracted that she will not notice the graviton mines positioned throughout the room. His eyes glittered with zealot's conviction. When she dies embracing her youngest, the treaty houses will declare it divine judgment. The reforms end. The old ways return. Your species, human, returns to the labor worlds where you belong. Marcus felt something cold settle in his chest. How long ago did she enter the old wing? 20 minutes, Thelsara said. In these mines. Remote detonation. The scholar laughed. Pressure triggers. Quantum sealed. The moment she reaches for the child, both die. And the half-blood abomination she carries in her breeding chamber dies with them. The room went absolutely still. Marcus turned to Thelsara. The queen is pregnant? 16 weeks? Classified at highest level? The father is from House Kellerth. Their union would merge the 2 most powerful bloodlines in the Empire. It would make the treaty houses irrelevant. So they kill the child as bait and the unborn heir as bonus. Marcus looked at the scholar. You're not getting the old ways back. You're burning everything for spite. We're purifying what was corrupted. The scholar straightened, despite his restraints. The queen bred with lesser blood. She advocates for alien rights. She weakens us. Thelsara hit him so hard 3 mandibles broke. The queen shows mercy. I do not. You will tell us how to disarm the minds. Blood bubbled through the scholar's broken face. They cannot be disarmed. Only I know the quantum signature, and I will die before I share it. Your queen has 15 minutes before she reaches the ceremonial chamber. Then the only choice is watching her child die, or dying with her. Marcus grabbed the armor, his mind working through impossible physics. These minds. Wait! They detect Kryn biosignatures specifically, the scholar wheezed. Keyed to royal genetic markers. The child's presence is already registering. When the queen's markers join hers, they trigger. What about human biosignatures? Thelsara's eyes widened. No. You cannot enter the old wing. It violates every... I know. Marcus lifted the breastplate. But I'm not Kryn. I won't trigger the minds. Let me get the child out before the queen arrives. The old wing is a maze. You would be lost in seconds. Then guide me. Your people have neural maps, right? Download the route to my comm unit? The scholar laughed again, a wet, bubbling sound. You would die for a queen not your own? For a child of a species that considers you cattle? Marcus looked at him. Really looked. Saw the hate, The fear, the desperate clinging to power that was already dust. "I fix things," Marcus said. "That's what I do." "You wouldn't understand." Marcus saw it happen in real time, across her face. She pulled a neural mapping device from her belt, pressed it against his temple. Pain lanced through his skull as alien technology interfaced with human neurology. But then the palace layout burned into his mind like instant memory. "The ceremonial chamber is 3 levels down, east wing, 7th turn past the ancestor galleries. You have 14 minutes. The captain's voice shook. "The queen will sense your approach. She will try to stop you. If she commands you to leave, you must obey. Royal word is law." I'm really bad at following orders. Marcus secured the armor to a transport sled. "If I'm not back in 12 minutes, tell the queen her armor is ready. And tell her..." He paused. "Tell her some things are worth fixing. Human." Tell Sarah caught his arm. The child's name is Velshara the Younger. She likes stories about Earth oceans. She has never seen water that moves. He didn't trust himself to speak. The run through the palace burned his lungs. The neural map screamed directions while his legs pounded stone floors older than human civilization. Guards stepped aside, their faces registering shock at a human sprinting through restricted halls. None moved to stop him. Word was spreading faster than he could run. The old wings smelled like time and secrets. Emergency lights painted everything in sickly green. Marcus's boots echoed too loud, and he forced himself to move quieter, thinking like the queen must be thinking. Predator silent, death quiet. The ancestor galleries stretched longer than the map suggested. Portraits of queens watched him pass, their painted eyes holding judgment. 6 minutes left. His breath came ragged now. Then he heard it, a child crying. And beneath it, a sound like a heartbeat made of stone, the graviton mines, resonating at frequencies humans shouldn't hear. Marcus rounded the 7th turn. The ceremonial chamber opened before him like a mouth. Velashara the Younger sat in the center, surrounded by 7 pulsing devices that hung in the air like frozen rain. Her small face was streaked with tears, her ceremonial clothes torn. "Hello," Marcus said softly, stopping at the threshold. "My name is Marcus, I fix things. Your mom asked me to take you home." The child's eyes, so like her mother's but without the weight of centuries, fixed on him with desperate hope. "I cannot move. They said I would die if I moved." They were wrong. Marcus studied the mind's positions, their quantum signatures visible now through some trick of human Kryn neural interface. They formed a perfect cage. Beautiful. Deadly. Keyed to royal blood. He stepped into the chamber. Nothing exploded. "See? Humans are too stubborn to trigger properly." He moved toward her slowly, watching the mind's resonance patterns. They pulsed faster as he approached, confused by non-royal biology. "Where's Mother?" the child whispered. "Hunting the people who hurt you." "She's very good at hunting." "I want to go home." "I know, we will." Marcus knelt beside her, aware that somewhere in the halls behind him a queen was closing in on this location, with murder in her hearts. He could hear footsteps now, running. Controlled. Lethal. "Velshara," he said gently to the child, "I'm going to pick you up now. When I do, don't be scared. Just hold very still, okay?" She nodded, too frightened to question.
Marcus lifted her. She weighed almost nothing.
The minds screamed their quantum frequency higher, detecting royal genetics in motion, calculating triggers, preparing to stop. The voice came from the doorway. Velshara the Elder stood there, armor damaged, green blood coating her secondary arms, eyes absolutely feral. "Your Majesty," Marcus said calmly, "I'm just taking your daughter home. You touched royal blood without permission. You entered execution chamber armed with weapons designed to kill me." The queen's voice held no emotion. That made it worse. "Put her down. This is not your battle. Can't do that. That is a command. Your commands don't apply to me." Marcus turned slightly, shielding the child with his body. "These minds are keyed to your genetics. If you enter, you die. She dies. Your unborn heir dies. I can't fix that, but I can fix this. You know, for a species that has enslaved yours for 3 generations. Marcus looked down at the small face pressed against his shoulder, felt the child's rapid breathing, the trust she had no reason to give. "You asked why your captain trusts me. It's because I told the truth when lies were easier. You want truth? Here it is." He met the queen's eyes. "I'm tired of watching empires eat themselves. I'm tired of hate winning. I'm tired of children being used as weapons. So yes, I'll die for them if that's what it takes, because someone has to choose different. The Queen stood absolutely motionless. Marcus could see her processing, calculating, feeling the weight of species history and personal choice colliding in real time. The minds, she said quietly. They cannot be disarmed. But they need royal genetics plus proximity to trigger. If I walk out with her now, they'll sense the distance increasing. They'll recalculate. I need 40 seconds of disruption. What kind of disruption? Marcus smiled. It probably looked insane. The kind where a very angry queen tears apart the quantum signature generators with her bare hands while I run like hell. Velsara's mandibles clicked once. Twice. Then she laughed, a sound like breaking glass and falling water. You are absolutely mad. Sometimes violently. The Queen's combat implants flared to full power. When I move, you run. You do not look back. You do not stop until you reach Thelsara. Understood? Yes, Your Majesty. And human? If we survive this, you and I will discuss your complete inability to follow protocol. Looking forward to it. Belshar exploded into motion. She hit the first mine with enough force to shatter its quantum casing, her hands moving faster than Marcus's eyes could track. The device screamed electromagnetic death before collapsing. The second mine fired defensive measures. The Queen tanked them, her natural armor holding through sheer rage. Marcus ran. The child clutched his neck as he sprinted through the ancestor gallery, the neural map screaming contradictory directions as graviton explosions rewrote palace geometry behind him. Stone cracked, metal screamed. Something that might have been a queen's war cry echoed through halls that had never heard such fury. He burst through 3 security doors before the explosions stopped. Silence crashed down like judgment. Marcus kept running. He didn't look back. Thelsara met him at the main corridor, taking the child with trembling hands. The Queen? Destroying weapons. Very enthusiastically. She lives? Lives and is extremely pissed off. The captain's scent markers shifted to something like relief mixed with terror. The council meets in 4 hours. She must appear strong. The armor's ready. We're ready. Marcus straightened. What happens to the conspirators? Traditional punishment for treason against the pregnant queen. Thelsara's voice went cold. They will wish for mere death. Velshar the Elder emerged from the old wing, scorched and bleeding, carrying pieces of shattered graviton mines like trophies. Her eyes found her daughter immediately, and something in her expression cracked. She crossed the space in 3 strides and pulled the child against her, mandibles clicking soothing harmonics that transcended species. The little one cried into her mother's chest, and for a moment the Queen was just someone's mother, someone's partner, someone trying desperately to hold her family together. Then Velshara looked at Marcus over her daughter's head. You destroyed palace property, she said. You violated restricted space. You ignored direct royal command. You caused 3 minor explosions and significant structural damage. You also saved 2 royal lives and prevented civil war. Her scent marker shifted to something Marcus couldn't interpret. I do not know whether to execute you or adopt you. Could we skip both and just call it Tuesday? The Queen's laugh startled everyone, including herself. She handed her daughter to Thelsara, then approached Marcus with that predatory grace that meant she was making decisions that would reshape lives. The council meets at dawn. You will stand with my personal guard as promised, but not as a technician. She placed one primary hand on his shoulder, a gesture of status that made the nearby guards inhale sharply. You will stand as my royal artificer. First human to hold rank in the Kryn Empire. You will speak when spoken to, observe everything, and tell me truths that my people are too afraid to voice. Your Majesty, I'm not qualified. You walked into a death trap for a child you'd never met. You defied a queen to save that queen's legacy. You understand something my people have forgotten. Her eyes held his. You understand that some things must be fixed regardless of protocol. That empire means nothing if we cannot protect the smallest among us. Marcus thought about the little girl crying in that chamber, about the queen bleeding from armor that should have protected her, about the scholar smiling while describing children dying. I accept, on one condition. The guards made sounds of shock. Thelsara's scent went sharp with warning. You didn't condition a queen's offer. Velshara's eyes narrowed. Speak. When this is done, when you've secured your throne and reformed your empire and made all the big changes you're planning. Marcus met her gaze without flinching. You tell your daughter about Earth's oceans, about water that moves, and then you take her to see them both. The Queen stood absolutely still for 5 heartbeats. Then she bowed her head. Just slightly. Just enough. I swear it on the graves of my grandmothers and the lives of my unborn. She will see Earth's waters move, and she will understand the beauty exists beyond our traditions. Then I'm your artificer, Your Majesty. Let's fix an empire. Velshar's mandibles clicked approval. The armor. Is it ready? It's perfect. No. She turned toward the chamber where the armor waited. Nothing is perfect, but perhaps with proper maintenance and someone stubborn enough to keep repairing the damage, it can be good enough. Marcus followed his queen through halls that suddenly felt less like a palace and more like a workshop where broken things got second chances. Behind them, Thelsera carried a small child who would someday rule an empire that learned to value truth over tradition, protection over protocol, and the kind of courage that knows when to break the rules in service of what's right. The armor gleamed under emergency lights. Velshara ran her hands over Marcus's modifications with professional appreciation. You upgraded the neural interface. Couldn't help myself. It'll give you a 3-second warning now. 3 seconds to see death approaching. She lifted the breastplate, fingers tracing the new welds. I suppose that's better than dying surprised? That's one way to look at it. How would a human look at it? 3 seconds to decide whether to dodge or punch death in the face. The queen's laugh echoed through the chamber, and somewhere in the palace, conspirators awaited judgment while a child slept safely, and an empire prepared to learn that sometimes the best way to honor tradition was knowing when to build something better. Help me with the armor, Velishara said. We have a council to face and a future to fix. That's what I do, Your Majesty. I know, the queen said softly. That's why you're here.